All right, there's something that this had come up in a conversation with a Gen Zer that had been had been trained in like theater and stuff like that. This is somebody who was even into theater, and at some point something came up about anti-hero, and she really couldn't name a, a good, solid, true anti-hero. And I was like, and I started naming some examples from various movies and TV shows, especially TV shows that went a long time. And I, with nothing, there was nothing there. She didn't know. She didn't know the material, and I was like, but you're into dramatic performance. Like, it was really weird. And it hit me. I was like, well, I guess those shows were on a long time ago. But I just started to realize, like, yeah, they just don't write characters quite like that anymore in a good way. The writing is just not quite there. Or couldn't quite get just the idea. I mean, like it wasn't an anti-hero that she was talking about. This was like this was like sort of a villain that it was their benefit was doing something that was loosely the moral thing to do in some situation or something. It was typically revenge, and I get like that, yeah, but that's the anti-hero. But that's the whole thing is the old anti-hero, there's a point at which the whole thing is disclosed and he must make some kind of choice. This is like most famous with Lone Wolf and Cub, and Ogami Ito. Ogami Ito, at some point, when somebody finally he gets to the point where somebody's like, I want him dead for, and then he's like, then you're gonna have to. I'm not gonna just take the money. You're gonna have to tell me the whole story. And it was brilliant. I mean, that's why Lone Wolf and Cub will always be Lone Wolf and Cub. The original will always be superior to all other versions that ever existed because of also how he played this character, the disinterestedness with how he played the character and the fact that he was kind of, he's kind of a chunky dude, but also he was an actual swordsman. One of the key reasons why he was such an effective actor is that he was playing something that he actually knew how to do as being trained in an actual swordsmanship. The writers of that can hold their head up high forever. You might not like the character he played, Hanzo the Razor, and that series, which is definitely much more Japanese, we would say, and as kind of one of the worst cops ever. But that's the thing is, you sort of hate him, but then there's aspects about him that you are like, oh my gosh, like, now he's likable. Like, but he's obviously this really horrible police officer, and yeah, I mean, he's obviously a horrible police officer in this. So a lot of, but this takes, the right kind of actor, the right kind of character writing, the right kind of style too. You have to have a style. That's tough. And so I get, like, with what's going on with these, hiring these consultants that end up just crushing your company, crushing the IP and stuff, just making, you just have flush all the VC and assets down the toilet. One of the things I've been thinking about is they definitely, the reason why there's so many people who are kind of like ha 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 is because they definitely approach everything as supervillains. Every flex that is pushed in defense of Sweet Baby, in defense of these sensitivity readers, you could say in a Skeletor voice, and it totally applies. I mean, it's just, you guys are now not anti-heroes. You're not people who are having to do a little bit of racism to solve the big problem of the the intersectional, patriarchal, racist, misogynistic, capitalism blob monster that you all slave under. It's the Cthulhu, the Hydra, the Tiamat that plagues you. No, it's really this thing of like, no. You guys are artists. Artists kind of are lazy. You don't want to work that hard. You kind of want to be paid to do your hobby. You wish you were less expensive. But then also, for some reason, you are furious at other people and you want to ruin their hobby. And that's not okay. And you're costing people like a lot of money. And there's people who really want to like do a great job and make it epic, and have that Robotech moment where it's like, where the elder Hunter brother dies and Rick Hunter has to take over Skull Squadron, and all that business. That you're like, oh my gosh, he died, and you kind of can't believe a character died, and you process this concept as a child through your child mind watching this cartoon where this very heroic character was, and it was self-sacrificial and in his death and this and that, and so I don't know. I'm presuming a lot of people want to be a part of something epic and wonderful when they're in the arts. But this comes across as like a constant attempt at coming up with new ideas of how to conquer Eternia, and that it's like that, but it's sort of Cobra Commander stuff, and the rest of the Wheeled Warriors comes out, and Cobra Commander's upset because this character won't do this or won't do that. Everyone keeps talking about how no Beastman's end of the plan didn't work out, and complaining about it on Twitter X. That's where it's coming. You're not anti-heroes anymore, and so I guess maybe it's more interesting to be a supervillain than an anti-hero for a lot of people, but I don't know. It's just but you should know how it comes across, because it's going to cost you a lot. It's going to cost a lot of companies money if they're associated with your super villainy. All right, later. That's weird.